Welcome on board Amtrak's Empire Builder. Over the next 48 hours, we'll cross the country from Seattle to Chicago, experiencing all Amtrak has to offer on this overnight sleeper train, including the most breathtaking views along the way.
Hello, jet setters. Welcome aboard one of Amtrak's most iconic routes. This is the Empire Builder. I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. Let's get on board and check it out.
We begin our journey in Seattle as just south of us in Portland, another train departs. We'll meet in the middle of the night in Spokane, where these two trains become one. This journey across some of the most beautiful landscapes in the western United States is only the first leg of our journey across the continent on Amtrak. But things didn't start off as we'd hoped.
We're so excited about this journey across the country on Amtrak. Unfortunately, it's not getting off to the smoothest start. Just got an email indicating about a 90-minute delay, but what are you going to do? It's part of the adventure.
So we used our extra time for some shopping, exploring, and of course, some meatballs, followed by the freshest salads we could find in Seattle. But then, we made our way to the station, where we got some more unfortunate news.
Arrived King Street Station. It's about 5 o'clock. Our train should have been leaving about now, but unfortunately, we've got another delay. We're not getting out of here till 8 o'clock. I guess it's the nature of Amtrak travel these days.
When we arrived, we asked an Amtrak employee the reason for the delay. He said it was in the yard being worked on, and we might even depart earlier than 8 o'clock. You can't deny the beauty of Seattle's King Street Station, even if it's lacking in amenities.
There's nothing to buy when, we want a bite to eat or read a newspaper, a magazine, or something like that. There's literally nothing here. Kind of strange for the station here in Seattle.
Eventually, we discovered a restaurant across the street and ordered something to tide us over.
Might be our dinner.
Fortunately, we had a view of the platform and noticed our train boarding just as we finished the nachos. I stored my bag downstairs and we headed upstairs to our room, bedroom D. And here it is, home for at least the next 46 hours. But at this point, it's looking like it's going to be a lot longer than we planned.
Full room tour tomorrow when there's daylight.
We're on our way to Chicago at 7:41, 2 hours and 46 minutes late.
This is the first time I've traveled with Amtrak from the West Coast to the East Coast.
You see, this is the first of 3 trains we'll take to get home to Greensboro, North Carolina. For now, though, we made our way to the dining car to share something for dinner. Meals are complimentary for sleeper car passengers. Coach passengers can eat in the dining car on a space-available basis for a fee. We started with a Mexican souffle, which had a bit of heat to it, but not too much. From there, we shared the pan-roasted chicken breast, which was tasty but a little dry. Back in the room, we discovered a quirk of our sink. It laughs.
Amtrak sure has its charms.
As Suzanne said, we'll explore this room and its beds tomorrow. For now, we're beat.
Good night.
We slept for about 9 hours and woke up in the second state of this trip.
Good morning from Sandpoint, Idaho. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. I woke up to an alert on my phone from Amtrak. We're about 4.5 hours late, which is unfortunate. But the dining car has just opened. I think I'm going to grab some breakfast. I think Suzanne is probably still asleep up there. And get this day started.
I woke up, and to be honest, I didn't sleep the best. I never sleep that great on Amtrak, but I was thinking to myself, why am I doing this? But then I looked out the window to this winter wonderland and made all those feelings go away. It's incredible. This is why you ride Amtrak.
For breakfast, Suzanne had the scrambled eggs, and I went for the breakfast quesadilla. Both were good, but nothing compared to this scenery. We lingered over our coffee as the sun rose.
We're back in the room and just enjoying these absolutely mesmerizing, magnificent, incredible views. This is truly one of the most beautiful parts of the country.
One thing worth saying is thank goodness for the delay. Because of that, we're seeing this now instead of sleeping through it. While we were at breakfast, we learned some unfortunate news. There's no observation car on this train. Unfortunately, some kind of mechanical problem. So they've added an additional dining car. We'll spend most of our time in this room, but it's not like that's a bad thing because it is stunning out there.
This is part of the route that's usually in darkness either direction you travel, so what a treat to get to see it today.
I just can't believe this is real. We're so fortunate with the snow setting it off, and you know, Suzanne mentioned how lucky for the delay to get these views we would have slept through otherwise. I think Idaho may be one of my new favorite states.
I have so many unforgettable Amtrak memories, things like passing through Granby Canyon on the Zephyr, traveling along the Pacific Ocean on the Coast Starlighter, passing by East Coast cities, but now this experience tops them all. And again, if we hadn't had this delay, we would have missed all of this. There's probably some kind of life lesson in there somewhere.
Welcome to Libby, Montana. Now the schedule put us here about 5 in the morning, but it's now almost 10 o'clock. So, you know, a little delay for sure, but great to see it all lit up like this.
Welcome to Get Ready With Me Amtrak Edition.
For those of you who may not know what Get Ready With Me is, it's where a YouTuber shows you how they get ready for the day.
Instead of washing my face, I'm going to use a face wipe.
That smells nice too.
Gotta have your SPF, even on Amtrak. Amtrak does provide your towels if you're staying in a bedroom or room ride. I'm not going to take the time to wash my hair this morning. These views are too incredible to miss, so I'm going to do a little combo of water and dry shampoo. Do you want a little dry shampoo?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to keep the makeup pretty light today. Maybe just some concealer. These eye bags are real.
And oh, so beautiful.
And there you go. Here's the final look. Ready for a day on Amtrak.
And here I am. This is my final look for a day on Amtrak.
Did you at least brush your teeth?
Yes.
Okay. You ready?
And ready for the day, we watch the world go by.
So we're almost to Whitefish, Montana, which is going to be a fresh air break. So looking forward to getting out there and stretching our legs. We'll have about 10 minutes out there, so let's take advantage of it.
First fresh air break here in Whitefish. It is about 29 degrees outside. We're running about 4.5 hours late so far, but it's been such a beautiful morning. I'm not minding at all.
This was our first chance to check out the new Siemens locomotives Amtrak has recently started adding to their fleet. Unfortunately, they've been a little challenging to run, which is one of the reasons for some of the delays like the one we're experiencing today.
That was all aboard.
All aboard, let's go.
We were back in our room just in time to say goodbye to Whitefish, Montana. The Empire Builder traces its heritage back to 1929 when it was the flagship route of the vaunted Great Northern Railway. In the early part of the 20th century, railroad companies were the airlines of their time, and perhaps none were as revered as the Great Northern Railway, which operated between St. Paul, Minnesota and Seattle, Washington. They operated the northernmost transcontinental railway in the country and were the only privately funded transcontinental railroad in the nation's history. Today, Amtrak is the only passenger operator on the route.
We're pulling into West Glacier, which was the terminus of our first trip with Amtrak on the Empire Builder. We came from Chicago out here for a little vacation in Glacier National Park. It was amazing and highly recommend that. but it really was also the beginning of my love affair, if I can be so bold, with Amtrak. This has just been a really wonderful part of my life, having discovered this, and I'm so grateful to Suzanne for introducing me to the joys of Amtrak adventures.
We hope you'll consider taking your own Amtrak trip. It's a truly special way to experience the United States. But this was just the beginning of this adventure. And Glacier National Park means it's time for lunch. It's a cheeseburger for Suzanne and the Monte Cristo sandwich for me. I'm not sure I'll order this again, but that burger looks extremely appealing. We arrived in Essex, Montana after lunch and were able to make a dinner reservation. In a test of our relationship, Suzanne let me pick the time. Did I get it right?
6, 7:15, or 8?
What do you think I picked?
6. Oh, I'm glad you picked 7:15 though.
Whew, that was close. Had our eastbound train been on time, this is where we would have had breakfast. Instead, we eased our way through Glacier National Park, where Suzanne enjoyed some scenery while I took a nap. And then I enjoyed some scenery while she took a nap. I'm not sure a more relaxing mode of transportation exists, particularly given how lucky we are to experience this journey from the comfort of this bedroom. So, what do you say we take a look around it? Come on in, let's take a tour of the Amtrak bedroom. So here's a sofa. Now this, along with this, convert into beds at night. There's a closet right here with plenty of room for coats, that kind of thing. Here, you got a sink, mirror, and come on in, let me show you my favorite part. I love this chair because you get the best views on the train. There's storage for one bag up here. That's, of course, Suzanne's bag. Mine's downstairs. There's plenty of room there as well for bags. And a table here to do some work or leave your things. We've got our backpacks here so we can get our stuff if we need it. And then in here is a shower and a toilet.
Kind of a tight squeeze in here, but really nice to have your own facilities.
Right here is a mirror and our adjoining room. Now, you need to keep your voice down because sound carries. Got to get creative on how you deaden noise, rattles in an Amtrak bedroom.
In addition to bedrooms like ours, you can book an even bigger family bedroom with space for 2 adults and 2 kids. They're accessible bedrooms like this one. Or even roomettes like this. Anytime you're able to travel in one of these spaces with beds, you're living right.
What is duffelboard exactly?
Duffelboard is the greatest sport of all time, and you have to go to Seattle to learn about it, but let me tell you, it's epic. Time for another stretch stop. This is Shelby, Montana. Let's head out and check it out.
Here in Shelby, we walked the entire length of the train. Now, the back of the train had the sleeper, 2 coaches, a dining car from Portland. Again, that dining car would normally be a sightseer lounge, but not on this trip, unfortunately. The front of the train, from Seattle, where we were, had a coach, the dining car, 2 sleepers, a baggage car, and of course, 2 engines. We'll walk through the inside of the train when we get to St. Paul, but for now, it's time for the all aboard.
One of the benefits of having your own room on Amtrak is you're able to bring your own drinks. You have to consume them in your room, but kind of nice to have a glass of wine in the afternoon. Why not? Why not? We picked up this great bottle of Rhone Blend in a Seattle urban winery. We are 19 hours into this about 46-hour journey.
Before long, we were pulling into Havre, Montana.
It's a little chilly here in Havre, Montana. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be staying outside.
While the train was being serviced, we headed inside to the station. In front, there's a statue to the founder of the Great Northern Railroad, James Hill. And back on the train, the dining car had been set up for dinner. But it was only 5:30, so we still had some time before our 7:15 reservation.
Okay, so this is a super rare occurrence because of a combination of delays. We're about to meet the other Empire Builder, the Westbound Empire Builder, right here outside Havre. They were having to wait to get into the station until we pulled out, so we should be able to see them right up here. And that was our very first Amtrak train, the Westbound Empire Builder. How cool to see it right here in Havre. Gosh, I love Amtrak.
We watched the sun set and time pass. Dinner was approaching fast.
So one of the reasons I decided to come on this trip with Jeb is that I have yet to try the famous Amtrak steak. And that all changes tonight. I'm gonna order the steak. Don't worry, full report coming.
The train pulled into Malta, Montana just as we took our seats in the dining car. We'd eaten with other passengers at each meal until this one, but tonight we had a table to ourselves. Suzanne started with a coconut-crusted shrimp, and I went for that Mexican souffle again. Both of us chose the Amtrak steak, and neither of us were disappointed. We shared a piece of cheesecake before heading back to our room.
We are back from dinner, and I have to report back on that steak. It was delicious. It's very tender, very moist. 2 thumbs up.
Well, it's nearly time for bed here. We'll get the room turned over in just a second, but we are approaching 24 hours on this train. But it really doesn't feel like it. The scenery today made time fly by. It was really beautiful. And here's hoping for a good night's sleep tonight.
With a quick tap of the call button, our car attendant came to the room and opened up our beds.
We get a lot of questions about what these beds are like, and there's no better way to get precise than with a tape measure, so let's get down to the numbers.
The bottom bunk is 37.5 inches wide. It's 72 inches long, and you'll get 31 inches of headroom. Up top, you'll get 27.5 inches of width. It's also 72 inches long. There's 22 inches of headroom up here.
So the viewer who asked if he could fit at 6'6", the answer is, well, sir, you're going to be sleeping diagonally.
So it's not super wide, but wide enough, and not enough space to fully sit up here. Takes some gymnastics to get up here.
This bed is really comfortable for me. I think if you're taller than 6 feet, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. This is definitely a place to get some good sleep on Amtrak, no doubt about it.
And that's that. Next time I see you, should be in North Dakota. Good night.
Good morning. It's nearly 7 o'clock. We're almost to Fargo, North Dakota. It was a reasonable night of sleep. I remember these tracks from the first time we took the Empire Builder. They're a little rougher than perhaps what we had last night, but I still feel pretty well rested. But the sun's coming up. Beautiful day in North Dakota. And if everything goes according to plan, we'll be in Chicago this evening.
Coffee's available in sleeper cars from 6 until 11 each morning, so I took full advantage while I watched North Dakota roll by. We headed up for breakfast. Suzanne had the scrambled eggs again. I had the omelet.
Now, am I right to say this right here? This is a vibe. We asked our subscribers whether they had questions about Amtrak, and so we're going to try to answer them throughout this journey. And by the way, if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you will, because we love to get input from people who are subscribed about how to make our videos better.
What advice do we have for first-time Amtrak travelers? And I think my biggest piece of advice really is to set your expectations. It's a comfortable experience. It's not luxurious. It's not the most modern, up-to-date equipment. It's not the fastest. It's not the most efficient. It's not the cheapest even. So you really have to set those expectations of like, I'm here for the experience, I'm here for the journey, and kind of sit back and take it in. Little over 36 hours into our journey.
And we've just arrived in Staples, Minnesota at that 36-hour mark. It seems like the right time to answer a question that many of you asked, which is some version of why is Amtrak always so late? It's a complex system, not to mention weather on top of that, freight trains that delay arrivals, and these machines are incredibly complex too. So there are a lot of reasons that delays occur. It's not ideal, of course, but I think if you're traveling by train, just something you got to accept, at least here in the United States. No matter what you're experiencing on the train, on time, delayed, otherwise, you're going to see some incredible sights. And it's worth saying again, thank goodness for the delay that we had, because what that allowed for us is to see that beautiful part of Northern Idaho we otherwise would have slept through. Very exciting, very momentous news. I think the mighty Mississippi River is about to appear right out our window. This is a very exciting moment in any journey across the country, and let's savor it. There's been a lot of questions about traveling in coach, and we have not done that, but there are a number of great channels that feature on YouTube that have. I definitely recommend Miles in Transit, who is one of the funniest trip reporters out there by a long shot, and Simply Railway. Both of those channels have a lot of really interesting transportation, transit, train-related videos, specifically in coach. So highly recommend checking out those channels. I'll link to them in the description below. How safe is it to leave your luggage in your room when you go to the restaurant or maybe downstairs to the bathroom? And I mean, the answer is, I don't know. We've done it before and haven't lost anything yet. You know, touch wood. I guess it's always at your own risk. We do recommend closing the door. Can't lock it from the outside, but when you go, just close your door, and really more than anything, just don't bring anything too valuable. This bear that Suzanne has on her bag here, this is probably the most valuable thing we've got. I got it for her in Lincoln, Nebraska on our CRJ 200 tour. A couple of questions about roomettes. One, are they worth it? Well, that really depends on you and what's important to you. I think they're definitely a step up above coach, no doubt about that, to have your own private space. But whether it's worth it, well, it depends on you. Also related, when's the best time to take a shower if you're in a roomette? And the answer to that is just keep an eye on how busy it is. They're kept pretty clean, and I haven't seen them used too much, so it's pretty easy to find a spot if you keep your eye out.
A question we get a lot is, how does the roomette bedroom fare work? Like, do you pay for the room or do you pay per person? And the answer to that is you pay kind of per person. So for example, a roomette on this route from Seattle to Chicago for one person costs in the neighborhood of $500. If you want to add another person, it goes up to something in the $700-ish range to cover the meals, basically.
We got a number of questions about accessibility and experiencing Amtrak from a wheelchair. Unfortunately, I'm not really qualified to talk about that. I did get to check out the accessible bedroom before it was occupied on this trip, so I'll share that footage with you. If you have more questions about this, I think Amtrak may be your best resource. Give their customer service a call. I wish I could provide more, but I'm not qualified for that. Sorry. We soon found ourselves in the suburbs of Minneapolis-St. Paul.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. The last day of a long-haul Amtrak trip is always kind of a slog. Like, I'm going on 2 nights of not so good top bunk sleep. It just kind of feels like this day in Chicago is gonna take forever. But gotta stay entertained, gotta have some caffeine, maybe grab a nap if you can. That'd be my advice.
As we slowly made our way into the St. Paul station, we decided to grab lunch. Suzanne had the baked potato with chili, and I had the cheeseburger she'd enjoyed yesterday. We shared a piece of lemon cake, and oh, by the way, don't forget to tip your dining car attendants.
So that was our last proper meal in Amtrak. Jeb, what is your award-winning meal of the trip?
Steak. It has to be the steak. That is, it's not the cod.
of the Zephyr, but the steak is really good, I think. What's yours?
I agree. The steak was the best meal we ate on this train.
But you really like the baked potato you had for lunch. You said that was one of your favorites.
As lunches go, I really enjoy that. My burger was delicious. The food's been very good. And it's time for our stretch break temperature check.
What is the temperature?
39 degrees here in St. Paul today. It feels like 32 at the wind chill. A little bit better than Montana, but still kind of chilly.
Yeah.
They're ready for any service animals that might appear at this station.
I was really hoping to check out the station here, but we don't have much time. I think maybe we're trying to make up some of the delay, so we can't get in there. But next time we're in Minneapolis, St. Paul, I guarantee we're going to check out the station.
We decided to head back onto the train in the very last car. Again, it's made up of a total of 3 sleepers, 3 coaches, 2 dining cars, one of which really should have been a sightseer lounge, a baggage car, and 2 engines.
And we're bidding a fond farewell to St. Paul and Minneapolis. But this is the last stretch break of the trip. The next time we get off this train, well, that's going to be in Chicago.
This final stretch from Minneapolis to Chicago took around 8 hours, but the time flew by.
It is amazing to see the Mississippi River completely frozen over like this. There's just a dusting of snow, which gives this kind of rippled effect. And we've seen several bald eagles right through here, which is really exciting. I'm not sure there's anything much more patriotic than sitting on an Amtrak train watching a bald eagle fly over the Mississippi River. Am I right?
We made our way to the cafe where we bought a couple of beers and snacks.
Winona is a fresh air stretch break, but we're going to stay inside and stay warm. I left my coat in the room and we don't feel like going back there. I am going to give Winona my award for best small station of the trip. I really like the way this one looks.
As we made the turn east toward La Crosse, Wisconsin, our next stop, and crossed the Mississippi once more, we decided to head back to our room.
Welcome to our 6th state. This is our next to last one. This is Wisconsin. Next up, Illinois, and our final stop, Chicago. It is currently 4:45, 4:45. That was our arrival time into Chicago. We are still on our way. We just passed out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, about 43 hours into the journey.
This is my first time playing Uno, so I think I'm about to win. But let me know the real rules. Okay, I'm gonna reverse play, so it's my turn again, and there we go.
Hot on the heels of our victory, we were called to the dining car for an unexpected bonus meal on account of the delay. Now, this was probably the worst thing we ate the whole trip, but we were still grateful for it since we weren't going to get into Chicago until after 9:30.
Our room attendant just brought by these snack packs, which was also super nice. It's good to have some sustenance during this delay, I guess. This is Wisconsin Dells. This is where I had the most famous meatballs in the history of Amtrak, right here. This is where my fork broke.
We played some more Uno, passed through Milwaukee, came upon the Chicago skyline, and our journey had ended.
47 hours, 52 minutes.
I think we can all agree that was 48 hours on the train, but we're not done yet.
Nope, in a couple days we'll be back here to get on a train to Washington, D.C.
Between now and the next time, see you on the rails. How did I start it? Thoughts?
Back on board.
This is such an exciting journey, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's consist.
Jeb, question for you. Why do you seem to wear t-shirts on the train? People want to know where's the Jeb shirt.
People want to know where the Jeb shirt is. Yeah, on a train I wear a t-shirt, which is weird because in no other aspect of my life except going to the gym do I wear a t-shirt. The quirks of being me.
And as the sun sets on this glorious day aboard Amtrak, it was almost time for an Amtrak steak.
Is that a good impression of me? Let me know in the comments.
I feel like Quasimodo the Hunchback up here.
It's pretty comfortable down here, not gonna lie. The bottom bunk gives you plenty of space. Sorry, Suzanne. I love you.
Would you want to share with me though?
Yes.
I think I'm gonna take the top bunk. I'm gonna keep it real here. Oh, I'm supposed to do that?